Houston, Texas, April 28, 1967, 8:30 a.m. The U.S. Army Induction Center is packed with young men. Most are nervous. Some are scared. All are compliant. Muhammad Ali walks in, the heavyweight champion of the world. Cameras flash. Reporters crowd around. This isn't supposed to be news. Rich, famous people get drafted all the time. They serve, they come back heroes. But Ali isn't like other rich, famous people. When they call Cassius Clay to step forward and take the oath, Ali doesn't move, doesn't speak, just stands there. And in that moment of silence, everything changes. Let's back up 2 years. Muhammad Ali is on top of the world. He's 23 years old, heavyweight champion, undefeated, making more money than any athlete in history. But there's a war brewing, not just in Vietnam. In America, the civil rights movement is exploding. Martin Luther King is marching. Malcolm X has been assassinated. Cities are burning. And young American men are being drafted to fight in a war most of them don't understand. Vietnam. At first, Ali doesn't think it affects him. He's a professional athlete. Rich. Famous. Surely they won't draft him. But in 1966, Ali gets reclassified from 1Y, unfit for service, to 1A, available for military service. The reason? The military lowered their standards. They need more soldiers. Ali is shocked, angry, confused. Why me? He asks his advisors. I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. I bring pride to America. Why would they want to send me to war? His lawyer explains it simply. Because you're young, healthy, and American. That's all they care about. But Ali cares about more than that. He's been studying Islam, reading about the history of his people, learning about colonialism, about how powerful countries invade weaker ones. And the more he learns, the more he questions what America is doing in Vietnam. February 1966. Ali is in Miami, training for his fight with Ernie Terrell. A reporter asks him about the draft. Ali's response shocks the world. I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me nigger. The backlash is immediate and brutal. Newspapers call him unpatriotic. Politicians call him a coward. Fans burn his pictures, but Ali doesn't back down. If anything, he doubles down. Why should they ask me to put on a uniform and go 10,000 miles from home and drop bombs and bullets on brown people in Vietnam, while so-called Negro people in Louisville are treated like dogs and denied simple human rights? This isn't just about Vietnam anymore. This is about civil rights, about justice, about what it means to be black in America. Ali's advisors beg him to be quiet, to serve his time, to come back and resume his career. 2 years, they tell him. Serve 2 years, come back, and you'll still be young enough to dominate boxing for another decade. But Ali refuses. I'm not going 10,000 miles to help murder and kill poor people, simply to help continue the domination of white slave masters over dark people. By early 1967, Ali has become the most controversial athlete in America. Maybe the most controversial person in America. Half the country hates him. The other half sees him as a hero. But everyone knows one thing. When his draft notice comes, Muhammad Ali will have to make a choice. His career or his conscience. His wealth or his principles. His freedom or his soul. April 28, 1967. The day arrives. Ali wakes up in his hotel room in Houston. He's been dreading this day for months, but he's also been preparing for it. He's consulted with his spiritual advisors, his lawyers, his family. Everyone has an opinion. Most of them think he should just serve. It's 2 years, his father tells him. You're young. You'll come back stronger. Think about your career, his promoter says. Think about your future. Think about your freedom, his lawyer warns. If you refuse induction, you could go to prison for 5 years. But Ali has made up his mind. He arrives at the induction center at 8:30 a.m. The place is swarming with reporters. This is the biggest story in sports, maybe the biggest story in America. Ali walks through the crowd, calm and dignified. He's wearing a dark suit, white shirt, thin tie. He looks like he's going to a funeral. In a way, he is. The funeral of his boxing career. Inside the induction center, Ali joins 25 other young men. Most are poor, most are black or Hispanic. Most have no choice but to serve. Ali is different. He has choices. He has money. He has lawyers. He could find a way out if he wanted to. But he doesn't want out. He wants to make a statement. The process begins. Medical exams, paperwork, interviews. Ali goes through it all quietly, cooperatively. He's not trying to cause trouble. He's just trying to follow his conscience. Finally, the moment arrives. An army sergeant stands at the front of the room. He has a list of names. When your name is called, you step forward. You raise your right hand. You take the oath. You become a soldier. When I call your name, the sergeant announces, step forward and take 1 step to the right. He begins reading names. Anderson, James. A young man steps forward. Brown, Robert. Another steps forward. The list continues. One by one, young men step forward, accept their fate, begin their journey to Vietnam. Then the sergeant calls out, Clay, Cassius Marcellus. The room falls silent. Everyone knows this name. Everyone knows what this means. Ali doesn't move. The sergeant calls again, louder. Clay, Cassius Marcellus. Still nothing. Ali stands perfectly still. His face is calm, determined, peaceful. The sergeant looks confused. He's never had someone refuse to step forward. Clay Cassius Marcellus, he calls a 3rd time. Ali finally speaks. That's not my name. History is being made. A Navy officer approaches Ali. Sir, do you understand what's happening here? Yes, sir. Do you understand that refusing induction is a federal crime? Yes, sir. Do you understand that you could face 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine? Yes, sir. Then why won't you step forward? Ali looks the officer in the eye. Because I am a minister of the religion of Islam, and my religion forbids me from participating in wars on the side of non-believers. It's over. Muhammad Ali has officially refused induction into the U.S. Army. The reaction is swift and devastating. Within hours, the New York State Athletic Commission suspends Ali's boxing license. The World Boxing Association strips him of his heavyweight title. Other states follow: California, Pennsylvania, Nevada. Every major boxing jurisdiction in America bans Muhammad Ali. He's 25 years old, in his prime, undefeated, and suddenly, he can't fight anywhere in the United States. The financial impact is immediate. Ali was scheduled to make $300,000 for his next fight. Gone. He had endorsement deals worth millions. Cancelled. Overnight, Muhammad Ali goes from being worth $2.5 million to being virtually broke. But the personal attacks are worse than the financial losses. Politicians line up to condemn him. Congressman Frank Clark calls him a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly calls his profession. Former heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson says Ali should be forced to fight in Vietnam as a private. Even some civil rights leaders distance themselves from Ali. They think his stance hurts the movement. But Ali doesn't waver. At a press conference the day after his refusal, reporters bombard him with hostile questions. Don't you feel any obligation to your country? My obligation is to my God and my people. What about the boys who are dying in Vietnam? What about the boys who are dying in the ghettos of America? Do you think you're above the law? I think the law should be just. And this war is unjust. The questions get more personal, more vicious. Are you a coward? Ali's eyes flash with anger, but his voice remains calm. I'm not a coward. I'm willing to go to jail for what I believe. How many of you can say the same? The room falls silent. June 20th, 1967. Ali is convicted of draft evasion by a federal jury in Houston. The trial lasts only one day. The jury deliberates for 20 minutes, guilty on all counts. The judge sentences Ali to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Ali's lawyers immediately appeal. He remains free on bond. But his boxing career is over. For the next 3.5 years, Muhammad Ali, the greatest heavyweight boxer in the world, cannot fight professionally in the United States. He's 25 years old when he's banned. He'll be 29 when he returns. In boxing terms, those are the prime years, the years when a fighter is at his peak. Ali loses them all, but he doesn't lose his spirit. Unable to box, Ali becomes something else, a speaker, an activist, a symbol. He travels to college campuses across America, speaking out against the war, against racism, against injustice. The same students who once booed him now give him standing ovations because something has changed in America. The war in Vietnam has become unpopular. The civil rights movement has gained momentum. And Muhammad Ali, once the most hated man in America, is starting to look like a prophet. October 26, 1970. After 3.5 years in exile, Muhammad Ali is finally allowed to fight again. His opponent is Jerry Quarry in Atlanta, Georgia. The fight sells out in minutes. Ali is 28 years old now. Older, heavier, slower, but still Ali. He wins by technical knockout in the 3rd round. The crowd goes wild, not just because their hero has won, but because their hero has returned. 6 months later, March 8, 1971, Ali gets his shot at the heavyweight title against Joe Frazier at Madison Square Garden. It's billed as the fight of the century, and it lives up to the hype. Ali loses, a unanimous decision, his first professional defeat. But in losing, he wins something more important. Respect. The same people who called him a coward now call him a warrior. The same people who called him unpatriotic now call him a patriot. Because they've seen what Ali sacrificed. And they've seen what he stood for. June 28, 1971. The U.S. Supreme Court overturns Ali's conviction. In a unanimous decision, the court rules that Ali's objection to the war was sincere and based on religious grounds. Ali is vindicated, legally and morally. But the vindication comes too late to save his prime years. Those are gone forever. Still, Ali doesn't regret his decision. In 1974, he regains the heavyweight title by defeating George Foreman in Zaire. He's 32 years old, past his prime, but still the champion. He holds the title until 1978, loses it, wins it back, becomes the first man to win the heavyweight championship 3 times. But his greatest victory isn't in the ring. It's in the court of public opinion. By the time Ali retires, he's no longer controversial. He's beloved. An American hero. The man who was once the most hated athlete in America becomes the most respected. But here's the thing about Muhammad Ali's stand against the Vietnam War. It wasn't just about Vietnam. It was about something bigger. It was about the right to say no, the right to follow your conscience, the right to stand up for what you believe, even when it costs you everything. In 1967, that was a radical idea. Athletes were supposed to be grateful, quiet, compliant. They were supposed to entertain, not educate, to perform, not protest. Ali changed that. He showed that athletes could be more than entertainers. They could be activists, leaders, voices for change. Today, we take that for granted. We expect athletes to speak out on social issues, to use their platforms for more than just selling shoes. But it started with Ali, with his refusal to step forward on April 28, 1967. That moment of silence changed everything. Not just for Ali, for all athletes, for all Americans. Because Ali proved something powerful. Your principles are worth more than your profit. Your conscience is worth more than your career. Your soul is worth more than your success. So let me ask you something. What's your Vietnam? What's the thing you're being asked to do that goes against everything you believe? What's the compromise you're being asked to make? What's the principle you're being asked to abandon? Because here's what I've learned from studying Muhammad Ali's life. Everyone has a moment when they have to choose between what's easy and what's right. For Ali, it was stepping forward when they called his name. For you, it might be something else. Maybe it's staying silent when you should speak up. Maybe it's going along with something you know is wrong. Maybe it's choosing money over morality. Whatever it is, you'll know it when you face it. Because your gut will tell you. Your conscience will scream. And in that moment, you'll have to decide, what kind of person do you want to be? Muhammad Ali made his choice. It cost him everything. His title, his prime years, his freedom. But it also gave him something priceless, his integrity, his self-respect, his place in history, not as just a great boxer, but as a great man. Here's what Ali understood that most people don't. The things you stand for define you more than the things you fall for. The battles you fight matter more than the battles you win. The price you're willing to pay for your principles determines their value. Ali was willing to pay the ultimate price, his career, his freedom, his future. And because he was willing to pay that price, his principles became priceless. So I'll ask you again, what's your Vietnam? And more importantly, what are you willing to sacrifice to stay true to yourself? Because here's the truth, Muhammad Ali learned in that Houston induction center. You can lose everything and still win. But you can't win everything and still be yourself. The choice is yours. But choose carefully. Because the choice you make doesn't just determine your success, it determines your soul. Muhammad Ali chose his soul, and in doing so, he saved it. That's the lesson of the draft card. That's the lesson of April 28, 1967. That's the lesson that can change your life, if you're brave enough to learn it.